Sukai's emotional tribute to his late father, and the moment Tan Songyun stepped in. What if I told you that behind Sukai's dazzling smile and effortless charm, there lies a wound he's carried for years? A wound born not from fame, but from loss. And what if I told you that during his most vulnerable moment, when the cameras were rolling and the world watched him break, one woman quietly walked onto that stage and changed everything? That woman was Tan Songyun. Hold on tight, K-drama family. The world of your favorite celebrities is unfolding before your eyes, and every moment is more breathtaking than the last. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now, because trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. The night that broke everyone's heart. It happened during a live broadcast of a charity gala in Beijing, a night meant to celebrate hope, resilience, and the power of giving. Xukai had been invited to perform a heartfelt reading in memory of those who had lost loved ones. But no one expected what would happen next. Halfway through his speech, as the lights dimmed and the spotlight found him, Sukai's voice began to tremble. He tried to continue, but the words caught in his throat. And then, the world saw it. Tears. Real, unguarded, unstoppable tears. He whispered, barely audible through the mic. Dad, this one's for you. The audience went silent. The memory that haunted him. Few people know that Xukai lost his father long before his fame reached its peak. A quiet, dignified man who had always believed his son's dreams were bigger than the world would allow. In interviews, Xukai once mentioned how his father used to sneak into his drama rehearsals, watching from the back of the room, never wanting to disturb. And when Xukai finally got his first big role, his father said just 5 words. You did it, my boy. Those were the last words he ever heard from him. Since then, Xukai had rarely spoken about his loss, until that night. The moment the world saw him break. As the crowd watched in stunned silence, Xukai clutched the microphone, struggling to hold himself together. Behind the cameras, even his co-stars looked on in disbelief. The usually composed, charming actor was now just a son, missing his father. The orchestra stopped. The lights dimmed further. And just when it seemed he couldn't go on, Tan Songyun stepped onto the stage. When Tan Songyun stepped in, wearing a simple ivory dress, Tan Songyun walked toward him, no hesitation, no cue. Just instinct. She placed a gentle hand on his shoulder and whispered something only he could hear. Then, without a word, she took the microphone and read the rest of the tribute for him. Her voice was calm, steady, filled with emotion. To the fathers who taught us how to dream, she read. And the sons who carry their love even when they're gone. We see you, we honor you, and we remember. Xukai covered his face, tears streaming down as the audience rose to their feet. It wasn't just a performance anymore. It was truth. It was love. It was healing, happening in real time. The moment that went viral. Within minutes, the clip went viral across every platform. #Xukai Tribute began trending worldwide. But what captured everyone's heart wasn't just his breakdown. It was her presence beside him. The way Tan Songyun held his hand. The way she shielded him from the cameras when he couldn't speak. The way she stood beside him, silently saying, "You don't have to do this alone." Thousands of fans flooded comment sections with messages like, "That wasn't acting, that was love." Tan Songyun didn't save the moment. She saved him. Behind the scenes. Later, insiders revealed that Xukai had been hesitant to appear at the event at all. He had recently visited his father's grave before filming resumed and had confided in Tan Songyun that he still wasn't ready to face those emotions publicly. But she encouraged him, gently telling him, "Maybe sharing your pain will help someone else heal too." No one knew how literal those words would become. Their private moment after the show. After the camera stopped, Xukai and Tan Songyun were seen backstage. He was still visibly emotional, head lowered, shoulders shaking. She handed him a tissue, smiled softly, and said, "He'd be proud of you, you know that, right?" And for the first time that night, Xukai smiled, a small, fragile smile. A smile that said everything words couldn't. The world responds. In the days that followed, that single moment became one of the most talked about events in the entertainment world. Fans from around the globe posted tribute videos, mixing Xukai's reading with Tan Songyun's soft-spoken lines. People who had lost their parents shared their own stories under the same hashtag. It became more than just a trending topic. It became a movement of remembrance, love, and empathy. One fan wrote, "He reminded us that even the strongest hearts can break. And she reminded us that love can mend them again." The interview that broke everyone's heart. Weeks later, Xukai appeared in a quiet interview. When asked about that night, he paused for a long time before answering. "That tribute wasn't for the cameras," he said softly. "It was for my dad. And when Seong Yun walked up, it felt like, maybe he sent her. Maybe he didn't want me to face it alone." The interviewer, visibly moved, said nothing. Because there was nothing left to say. The love that speaks without words. Since that night, Xukai and Tan Songyun's bond has only deepened, both professionally and personally. They've supported each other through awards, projects, and even quiet moments away from the spotlight. But fans say they'll never forget that night. The night the world saw a man break. And the woman who helped him find the strength to rise again. The letter that was never meant to be read. The letter was discovered by a fan attending an exhibition celebrating Xukai's career, displayed quietly behind a glass frame, among photos of his early years. At first, people thought it was just a prop. But when the handwriting matched Xukai's, and the words began to spread online, the world realized what it truly was. A private letter, written by a son to the man he lost too soon. The words that broke the internet. The letter begins simply, tenderly. "Dear Dad. It's been years, but some nights I still hear your voice, reminding me not to give up, even when I'm tired of pretending to be strong." He goes on to write about the loneliness of fame, how the cameras never stop flashing, how the applause sometimes feels hollow, and how the world doesn't see the quiet moments when he wishes he could just hear his father laugh again. Then, halfway through, his tone shifts. "I used to think success would make me feel close to you again. But now I understand, you were never in the trophies or the lights. You were in the courage it took to get there." And in the final line, the one that made millions of fans cry, he wrote, "If heaven has a front row seat, I hope you're sitting there, Dad, because I finally did it. And I did it for you." The world reacts. Within hours of the letter going public, social media exploded. Hashtag Xukai letter and hashtag Dear Dad trended worldwide. Thousands of people shared their own letters, to parents, to loved ones, to those they'd lost too soon. News outlets called it the letter that healed a nation. Even celebrities joined in, posting tributes, messages of grief, and hope. But among them, one post stood out. A quiet, heartfelt message from Tan Songyun. She wrote. He didn't just write to his father. He wrote to every child who still misses a parent in silence. And beneath her words, a single image, Xukai on stage that night, his hand over his heart. Behind the letter. Insiders later revealed that Xukai had written that letter months before the gala, alone, during a filming break in the countryside. He had never planned to share it. According to a close friend, he kept it folded in his wallet, carrying it with him everywhere. He said it was his anchor, his reminder of why he started. But after the gala, after the world saw him break and heal on live television, he decided it was time to let go. He asked his team to include the letter in the exhibition for his father's eyes only. He never expected the world to read it. The legacy of love. Since then, Xukai has spoken openly about grief and family. He's launched a foundation in his father's name, providing scholarships to students who lost parents early in life. In one of his interviews, he said something that captured the world's heart once again. Love doesn't end when a person leaves. It continues, through us. Through the people who still choose kindness, even when life isn't kind. Some stories end in silence. Others echo through generations. Xukai's story isn't about fame or sorrow. It's about remembrance. About how grief can break you, and how love can build you back again. And perhaps that's why his father's presence still lingers. In his laughter, in his strength. And in the woman who stood beside him when he needed it most. Because sometimes, the greatest tributes aren't found in words, but in the quiet ways we learn to live again.